And this is kind of the biggest thing that just shook me. I was just like, what the hell is going on here?
Which part?
Welcome back to the Schaik Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Van Schaik. With me, we have our co-host, former assistant.
Oh, no.
Zizi.
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Zizi, what happened? You kind of have to tell them, right?
Yeah, tell him. Say it.
Zizi was my friend before we started working together and before I hired her as my assistant.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think we just came to a conclusion that when you're someone's friend initially and then you become like a working partner with them, kind of like a coworker, employee type situation, it's kind of difficult to really understand and kind of draw that line between like friend and then also the work
Coworker.
relation.
Yeah.
The work relationship.
Yeah.
Because you even said like sometimes when you would work, you kind of felt like you were working for a friend.
Yeah,
And
I felt
not like you were like I was your boss.
Yeah, exactly. It felt kind of awkward. I was like, well, I want to like do all of this for you, but it feels
Right.
weird when you pay me. So I was like, no.
Feels
I
weird that I pay you.
yeah, I was like, don't pay me. I'm your friend. Like, I'll be more
Yeah,
than
and I
happy
kind
to.
of noticed that a
Yeah.
little bit too,
Yeah.
where I felt like you were kind of apprehensive for me even to like raise your pay.
Yeah, I was like, no, you don't have to do that.
But that leaves me trying to find an assistant.
Good luck.
Yeah, right. It's actually like pretty darn hard because one, there's no real place you can find an assistant. It's not like personalassistants.com. Maybe there is one of those, but I didn't check it out. But I did Google it and I couldn't really find much. And I'm not going to just like put something on Indeed or anything really very formal. I want something I guess I have to try people out and see if they're a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at a whole bunch of places. I looked at TaskRabbit. That was a terrible place because everyone just didn't take you seriously. Because I would like book someone for like an hour because that's the minimum that you can book somebody. And I was like, hey, I'll just pay someone, a few bucks and then have them come in and I'll be like, hey, surprise, it's like an interview.
Oh my
And
God.
then, but that didn't work because people just canceled on me because they're like, I'm not going to just come in for an hour for personal assistant. That sounds like you want to do something sexual to me. Then I noticed that people on TaskRabbit also said that they were nannies. And then that hit me. I was like, dude, nannies. I need to find like a personal nanny. That's what I need.
Perfect.
That's what I really need is like a personal nanny because essentially, I need almost like a babysitter. Every influencer needs a babysitter. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, so I'm looking for a personal babysitter.
For yourself.
Yeah. So, So I basically went on this website, care.com. So far, I've gotten some good responses and some people that I'm interested in, and we already had somebody in to have a kind of a trial run. But yeah, I think I'm finding out that I really need to be comfortable with a person.
Did anyone ask like how many kids do you have? And you're like, none. Why? Why do you
Yeah,
ask?
right. It's just me. There's no kids involved here. There's no pets either. So if you're looking for any of that, no, it's just me. There's the big baby influencer here.
Can't believe it actually worked though.
Yeah,
That's
it's actually
so
working.
cool.
It's actually working. There are actually girls that are interested, which is great. Should work out. Maybe we'll have another co-host here. We'll have 2 co-hosts
Nice.
that can badger me and get me in trouble with everybody. What we're really talking about today is giving you all an update and some really interesting things that are going on in the Brian Laundrie case of trying to find him and Gabby Petito, who went missing and then now sadly was found in a Wyoming national park, and she was deceased. Very, very sad. But some of the updates that we want to inform everybody of and want to talk about, and some of the things that are just absolutely bogus that is going on here, is first, looks like Brian Laundrie is being spotted everywhere now. I think there's some people they found him on a plane, on an airplane. They took a picture. I'm like, oh, Brian Laundrie.
Every bald guy out there right now.
Every
like,
bald
"Are
guy
you
with a beard,
serious?"
including Simon Whistler, including the high school dropout that pretends he's a PhD, that reads what he calls body language. Anybody who's a bald head, a white male, rather young, who has a beard, is Brian Laundrie. But there was a guy that said that he saw him on the Appalachian Trail, which actually, if you hear his story, the guy's story, he didn't see him on the Appalachian Trail. He didn't. So we're going to actually get into that in another podcast. I think we're going to do like a double up podcast here. Yeah. We're going to do one right after this one because we have been kind of MIA for, I guess, 2 weeks by now.
Yeah.
And we have a few to catch up on. So while we have Zizi here, we're going to double up on podcast and talk about that one specifically in a whole nother podcast. So that was probably going to come out concurrently right after this one. I guess the police are kind of going through now. Is there thousands of Brian Laundrie sightings? But that's the thing too. I think naturally, obviously, I don't have a shaved head or plan on doing that anytime soon. Maybe at some point when I do lose all my hair, I will. But that's the thing. When someone loses all their hair, they naturally want to grow a beard. It's like a natural offset. Well, it's kind of a natural offset because, if you have no beard and a shaved head, then it's just a lack of color, especially on a white male.
Okay.
So the color you bring back to your face and your head is through your facial hair. Huh. So that's kind of the idea of why generally, men do that. And it's fine, if that's the situation, that's the situation. But at the same time, dude, so many people that look like Brian Laundrie, if that's the one characteristic that everyone's looking for. But there's a whole bunch of other things we also want to talk about. And it's that now the Laundries are helping in the police search at the Carlton Reserve. All of a sudden, they're helping the police. And it seems kind of odd that all of a sudden that they want to help now. Don't you find that odd, Zizi?
Yeah. Also, it's in a place where he's likely not.
Yes,
so they're like,
exactly.
We'll just pretend to make ourselves useful.
And the whole reason why they want to search the Carlton Reserve again, and they're searching now, is because they're saying like, oh no, the Laundries accidentally told us that Brian left on the Monday, not the Tuesday. And it's like, at this point, it's 3+ weeks. It's almost 4 weeks, going on 4 weeks soon. And they still haven't found him there or anything. It's been 4 weeks. They've been searching that area. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Maybe back then it mattered. You were able to say like, oh, well, have a better idea of what trail he's on or maybe the weather and, things like that and footprints. I don't know. Whatever they're looking for. Maybe it mattered then. It doesn't really matter too much now.
Yeah, because he got away. If that was his original plan to run away.
Right. He's not going to be hanging around in one place. I mean, what is this? The only way he's there is either he's really stupid, he really likes crocodiles and venomous snakes, or if he's dead.
I have a feeling he's not dead.
Right.
And he got away.
Yeah.
With the whole, it was just by a day.
And he probably wasn't even there. And if he was there, he's there for like a day or two just to make his way out of the Carlton Reserve and get the hell out of Florida.
Yeah. Isn't there a highway right there? That can lead to literally anywhere outside of Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
You get on it. That's it.
The interstate runs right through there. And at that point, no one was looking for him. Not one person was really looking for him at that point.
Yeah, and the parents told the cops he left on the wrong day.
Right, yeah, too.
So
that was before this was really national, where everyone was just like, oh, look for anyone with a shaved head and a beard. Right? And now all of a sudden they're helping the police, quotation mark, helping the police, which is completely bogus. It's like, dude, come on now. It's not helping the police. And if they are helping the police, they're trying to not show where Brian is. Right. What do you think?
They're
Do you think they're actually going to help the police?
No.
Do you think they're actually going to be like...
They've been helping him
after everything that was going on and everything we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah.
Do you think they're actually going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to help you? It's hilarious to think about. This whole thing is so cringe. Oh, my God. How is this happening? This whole thing.
They helped him cover up evidence and get away.
The
and then
whole
now
time they were covering it up. Right.
Yeah.
The whole time they were helping cover it up, hide him, and, not be helpful at all to the Petitos when they reached out. And that's another thing we want to talk about, too, that I don't think everyone is fully aware, is that when the Petitos reached out to the Laundries, when it was first known that, hey, where is Gabby? I haven't heard from her.
Yeah.
It looks like Brian just got back home. Where is Gabby? Do you think you could help us, about to call the police? This is kind of scaring us. they reached out to the Laundries. And the Laundries did not return their calls. This was before the police were even involved at all.
Yeah.
What the heck? And here's the thing, too. Gabby lived with the Laundries. That was her home. And then Brian comes back, and then they're just like, no comment, no comment. That tells you what? What does that tell you?
They're hiding something.
Well, yeah, but it tells you that Brian informed the Laundries, the Laundrie family, father and mother, what happened, and that they need to freaking have cover on this. And they're helping cover. He told them, apparently, right away, pretty quickly, that he needs cover. And they were like, okay, we won't talk to anybody. We'll get an attorney. We'll shut our mouths. Clearly, because the girlfriend's parents call you and they're like, oh, concerned where our daughter is. Naturally, you'd be like, oh, goodness. Brian, let's talk about this. When was the last time you saw her? I mean, you said he came back and, maybe had a fight with her, but what happened? They're calling us, and, we want to help them find their daughter. Oh, my God, is she just across the country in Wyoming and all alone? What happened? We want to help find their daughter. Let's give them a call back, and let's try to help them. Nothing like that. It tells you that they were in on this from the very start. At what point, we don't know, but at least, I think, since Brian got back home. At least since he got back home with the van. This is just absolutely insane. Like, this is one of those things where you cannot write a book about this or write a story or a movie about any of this, because no one would buy it or believe it. Be like, what? What are you kidding? They're just going to be in on this? No, come on. That's not how normal people act. That's so unbelievable.
Won't the parents also be in trouble if they found out he really did kill her and that the parents have been covering up? They can be charged or go to jail too.
They probably will at some point be charged.
Maybe, do you think this is why they're helping now the police to be like, oh, Brian might not get away with it? Yeah,
it could be just for aesthetics, just for public perception, and so it looks good in the jury. It wasn't like I completely didn't help. I helped a little bit. I mean, look, I was carted around in a golf cart around the Carlton Reserve and pointed out some trees that he could have been hiding behind. It's completely ridiculous. So another big thing that we want to mention, and this is kind of the biggest thing that just shook me. I was just like, what the hell is going on here?
Which part?
Yeah. And it's that Brian, and this recently, I believe, came out over the past 3 or 4 days. Brian actually came home from Utah on a plane in between when they were out in Utah. So Brian, when they were out in Utah, and right after they were pulled over by the police and separated for the night, and they apparently had a little fight, between them, and there was a 911 call that was called on them, and specifically on Brian. After all that happened, Brian took a flight from Utah to Florida, back home, in what he claims, or someone close to the family, I guess maybe the attorney claimed, that it was to clear out and clean out a storage unit so that they don't have to pay an extra months or a few months of storage unit costs.
His parents couldn't do that for him?
Right?
No.
He had to fly all the way back to do that? What? And also, here's another thing. Financially, let's think about this. If you're going to get like a last-minute ticket, kind of like within a few days, like, oh, man, we're going to spend a few extra days here, a few months.
Expensive.
Yes. If you're going to get a last-minute ticket from Utah all the way to Tampa, Florida, it's going to cost a good amount of money. This is not, a $50 Southwest flight. No. It's probably going to cost at least $300 each way. Total of $600, not including Ubers, not including your time, not including breaking up your vacation, not including any of that.
It just suddenly happened. He just had to go home.
Yes.
Yeah.
To clear out a storage unit. But how much does a storage unit cost?
Barely $100 a month.
Yeah. Say like $100 a month. If you're doing 2 months, it's $200. So what? You're going to pay a $600 flight into Tampa and back, and all that time and all that energy and all the extra costs and all the extra Ubers and everything else to make that happen to save $200. You're going to pay $600 to save $200.
You can't Venmo your friends to just do it for you.
Right.
Or anyone with a truck.
Or it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it financially.
Yeah.
It's not worth it financially at all. So it makes you think, if this happened after they got into that big fight, that the police were called on after that happened, and he flew back home. It makes you think if there's something else going on, if maybe the reason why Brian actually killed Gabby was maybe a cover-up, because he apparently laid hands on Gabby, and typically it escalates. Maybe it escalated further after the police run in.
Yeah.
And then maybe he told the parents. Maybe the parents got involved. And maybe the parents tried to be involved in her disappearance.
Holy shit.
They seem quite involved.
Yeah.
Why not? You know?
Ooh.
And it makes you wonder what's the motive. But it makes you wonder what's the motive. What is the motive for Brian to kill Gabby?
They were fighting, like,
Right.
when the police found them.
Yeah. They were
Like,
fighting
physically fighting.
Physically fighting. What's the motive? I think it was
Oh,
to
God.
shut her up because she had dirt on him, and the parents got involved probably to try to make her disappear so that their son would not get reported on as abusing Gabby. Why did he fly home? Why are the Laundries acting like this? And why would he do it?
Yeah.
Why would he kill Gabby? And that whole idea fits possibly with him flying home to Florida to see his parents, possibly to plan out exactly how he's going to do it with his parents, making sense that his parents aren't saying anything and didn't say anything as soon as Brian got home. And as soon as Brian got home, they also got the camper and went on a little camping trip. We're just speculating on things, and it makes sense of why they're not saying anything, because they're freaking guilty as fuck. That's why. That's why they're not saying anything. Kind of ridiculous that we're still here. You know, we're still at this crazy point where the Laundries aren't saying anything. The cops are still acting stupid. And there's no explanation for anything right now. And then everyone just says that they saw Brian Laundrie. So, yeah, we're going to make another podcast right after this one here. And we're going to be talking about that guy who says that he saw Brian Laundrie over at a Appalachian Trail kind of place. Not on the Appalachian Trail, but I guess in the parking lot of the Appalachian Trail. I want to be clear here, okay? That makes it really weird, too. Okay? It's not like he saw him walking on the Appalachian Trail. No. So we have a lot more to say about that. So if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube for the Schaik Podcast Show. But if you want to listen, you can listen to the Schaik Podcast anywhere and everywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, all of those. That's where you can find Schaik. We'll see you at the top. You want to change shirts?
Change clothes. It's the next day.
Change shirts.
Well, I mean, since you announced we were going to do one, then it's fine.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want to go change?